If you grew up as a ginger millennial in Europe, there is a good chance you remember endlessly kicking against a round white object in your parents' yard and meeting with your friends to battle each other with Man Blue versus FC Bosphorus in Pro Evolution Soccer 6 after school with your mates. It sometimes seems the only three things that remain unchanged when it comes to football are the fact that the ball is still round, you pass it with X, and England apparently still can't win the World Cup. In the past 25 years, modern football and EA have slowly arrived at the same business model. Start with something people genuinely love. Add more content. Then more content. Then so much content that no human could reasonably consume it all. The 2026 World Cup is basically what happens when FIFA looks at FC 26 Ultimate Team and thinks, interesting, but what if the pack opening lasted 5 weeks and involved all sovereign nations? For smaller nations, qualifying for a 48-team World Cup can be the kind of historic moment that makes an entire country briefly forget corruption, poverty, war, and the fact that their central midfielder plays at the 9th of the Greek Super League. Countries that previously existed in the football world mostly as 68-rated silver cards you accidentally packed from an Electrum Players Pack can now actually qualify. You take a country nobody in division rivals was using, give them international exposure, infrastructure, and one extremely fast winger playing in France, and suddenly they're competitive. Basically, the evolution system applied to geopolitics. The problem is that anyone who has played Ultimate Team knows what happens next. FIFA walks in and says, what if we monetize the human experience? Because this World Cup is not just bigger, it is aggressively bigger. 48 teams and 104 matches. A tournament spread across America like someone dropped the players onto a map and said, perfect, now battle each other. At first, expansion sounds like opportunity. Then you realize more games means more broadcast inventory. More broadcast inventory means more sponsors. More sponsors means more merchandise opportunities. And eventually, the World Cup starts operating like an Ultimate Team season, where every Friday you log in and somehow there are 12 new card designs and your entire starting 11 is now fodder. The pitch is technically about football, but the ecosystem is about packs. You want to compete? Open packs. You want the best players? Open packs, or eventually do an 8x86 SBC, where you submit the gross domestic product of a small country and receive 3 goalkeepers you don't need. You want to start a new career and actually enjoy the game without slowly developing contempt for the entire economic structure underneath it? Unfortunately, that feature is not currently available. This is where FIFA and EA really understand each other, because neither technically forces you to spend real money. You can enjoy Ultimate Team without buying FC points. You can also attend the World Cup without buying premium hospitality. You just need several thousand hours of grinding and possibly somewhere to sleep in Kansas City. In EAFC, 26 players can sprint around like a chemically optimized dog breed deep into injury time because realistic fatigue gameplay is apparently bad for engagement. But real footballers have actual bodies. So yes, they can actually get hurt. And this tournament is being played across heat, humidity and altitude. Meaning the players are being asked to complete a 5-week-long weekend league while their recovery protocol is basically plane, training, match, 3-minute sponsored water event. And yes, the hydration breaks have a legitimate player health rationale. But somehow FIFA created a sponsored mid-half tactical timeout where players get electrolytes while a broadcaster will casually remind you to buy a pickup truck. Basically, the real-world equivalent of the pause menu opening mid-game and showing you a 650,000 coin essentials pack, which contains 30 rare players. All unbreakable. I mean, all untradeable, of course. Which is like saying, we care deeply about player welfare. And by the way, this medical pause is brought to you by Beverage Corporation. Yes, climate conditions do affect performance, recovery, and whether playing football at 3 p.m. in a giant concrete air fryer is actually a good idea. So indeed, a system can solve a real-world problem and still monetize you at the same time. Very human. Nothing dystopian happening here, Sam. And economically, host cities can benefit too. Restaurants make more money, and for football in North America, this might bring new fans and more youth participation to a country where half the population still thinks football is something that exists, so children have cardio before they switch to baseball. And by the way guys, this is Zidane and not Infantino, because as you can see, I clearly turned the head around. But mega events also have a long history of promising broad economic blessings and then delivering them with the distribution pattern of a loot box. Some people get legendary rewards. Some local businesses get a temporary boost, some restaurants get 5-star skill rewards, but also some residents get higher prices, security restrictions, displacement risk, and the privilege of watching global football from outside the stadium because tickets apparently cost more than their rent. Great job, Mr. Trump. Even further, hosting a World Cup means housing pressure and treatment of unsheltered populations, aka who gets removed from the nice parts of the city before the cameras arrive. The 2026 World Cup is officially hosted by the United States, Canada and Mexico. But looking at the political presentation, you sometimes get the sense that Canada and Mexico are mostly there for chemistry. The United States is the 95 rated central card. Canada provides a strong link, Mexico gives league chemistry, and Gianni Infantino is the manager card somehow giving Donald Trump +2 chemistry despite neither of them naturally fitting neither the formation nor the jersey. And because much of the tournament is in the United States under Donald Trump, the whole thing has the atmosphere of a global unity festival being hosted inside a culture war inside of a never-ending loading screen. Pretty insane if you ask me. Welcome world! Football unites us all. Terms and conditions apply. Some regions may not be eligible. And if there's one organization capable of saying football unites the world while standing next to politicians whose main hobbies include dividing it into hostile demographic spreadsheets, it is FIFA. FIFA loves the language of inclusion. Of course it does. Football for everyone. Unity, diversity, no racism, education. All the words you put in an inclusion campaign when you want the message to smell morally expensive. Another major issue with the 2026 World Cup is that the map is enormous, which means the same tournament that puts climate messaging in the corner of the broadcast also has its president crossing a continent to watch Group E decide whether second place gets punished by playing France, which makes the sustainability strategy feel a little like putting an engine chemistry style on Harry Maguire. Technically something has changed, I just don't think we solved the main issue. And yes, FIFA has sustainability strategies. But even airlines have sustainability strategies. Pretty much the equivalent of your niece driving an SUV to hot yoga using a reusable water bottle. Let's hope she's not that annoying, God willing. Now the question is whether the structure of the event makes the strategy believable. Because you can thumbs up, salute, double index finger, double fantastico and plant trees around the stadium all day long. But if millions of people are repeatedly flying across a continent because the tournament bracket has the logistical elegance of a badly generated champs matchmaking, the problem may be on the construction side. And yet, despite all of this, we will still watch it. Of course we will. Because just like Ultimate Team, the underlying product is pretty awesome. Watching a small nation upset a giant. Seeing an unknown player become a national hero. Watching 30,000 people from completely different backgrounds celebrate the same meaningless ball crossing a white line, and no, it didn't cross the line, dear England fans, is genuinely one of the best things humans have invented. Nobody opens packs because they love probability distributions. They do it because they love football. Nobody flies across a continent because they are tactically attached to FIFA's stakeholder strategy. They do it because they love football. And between sponsors, broadcasters, politicians, and everyone else trying to complete the World Cup revenue objective, that love becomes the most valuable card in the game. And now the big question remains whether you should watch today's World Cup final or not. I guess I will put the controller in your hands, guys.